Welcome,
Hello,
Sergiy.
Linda.
Welcome, warm welcome.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Sergiy.
Thank you.
Please have a seat.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Umid. See you later. It's really great to have you here, but I'm just wondering, just to get out of Ukraine, I mean, just a trip to Stockholm, how easy is that given the situation in the country?
It's more difficult in terms of logistics, obviously, because the air is closed. So if you need to get out on a plane, you need to be able to fly fighter jet, you know.
So you'll be flying a fighter jet?
No, this is not something we can do at Ukrainian West, so we use train.
So you took a train?
Yeah, so it takes like about 20 hours to get to Poland, because you need to cross the border, and then you get on a plane.
So it took you 20 hours to come here?
I
think you are the one who traveled the longest time, actually, to get here today.
But this is not something that we complain about, because people that defend Ukraine, they are in way more difficult circumstances, you know, so they defend the country, and unfortunately people dying every day, so we need to remember about that. And what we do today, this is in order to make sure that when they come back from front lines, they have working places and they have decent working conditions.
Could you tell us about, first of all, your role? We have said here in Sweden, oh, it's a bit maybe like Vinnova. I don't know if you heard about Vinnova yet, but can you tell us about what you do and your organization in brief?
Well, our main role is the typical IPA role, Investment Promotion Agency model that is applied in Sweden, in many countries throughout the world. And before the war, we were focused on pure attraction and support of investments. When the war broke out, full-scale military invasion of Ukraine, we have primarily focused on supporting existing businesses. They had different needs. They had to relocate within Ukraine, Ukrainian and foreign businesses. And they had to cope with the big number of regulatory updates that was connected to, you know, war in the country, like National Bank of Ukraine was introducing new changes and all other institutions. So our main role was to keep business operating in Ukraine. And I think Ukraine did quite a good job there, because at the beginning of the war, about 90% of businesses were at full stop or at partial stop. And back at November 2022, more than 80% of businesses were fully or partially operational. They were not at the same level as a pre-war kind of economic development and business operations, but still they were operating, and resilient was enormous of businesses as well, of Ukrainians and foreign businesses in Ukraine. Many companies were paying salaries even if people didn't work throughout the year, you know, just to support. Just to support, yes. So I want to thank Swedish companies specifically for doing this in Ukraine.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to hear that it's still also, I mean, operations going, as you say, there's still a little bit of, you know, everyday life business-wise. But, I mean, looking at investment today, for example, we have a panel here later going to talk about the tough climate today, about getting investors. But how is that for you? What's the investing climate like now in Ukraine?
Well, 2021 was a record-breaking year in terms of FDI attraction into Ukraine. We have managed to attract, as Ukraine, as a country, more than 7.3 billion US dollars.
Wow.
It was the biggest record for Ukraine in independence years.
So 2021, just
2021.
before the war.
2022 minus 321 million. So you can see the difference. Also, our industry suffered a lot because share of manufacturing in GDP decreased to 7% from 11%. And that is on the background that our GDP has shrunk by more than 30%. So this is very significant. But we have good hopes, and we have been seeing tremendous support, not only in terms of public support, but in terms of practical support, planning investments in Ukraine. So companies like Kingspan, Irish global company, one of the leaders in terms of manufacturing of energy-efficient construction materials and other innovative products for construction. They were one of the first ones to leave Russia, and the first ones to announce significant investment in Ukraine. So they will invest more than 200 million euros. They will build between 6 to 7 factories, and that would be the biggest technological campus of their company globally. And they even called this project Sergiy. Sergiy, translated from Irish Gaelic language, means freedom from oppression. So
Sergiy, we have to remember that.
Yes, Sergiy. Yes.
Always, almost like Sergiy.
Almost, yeah, almost. Yeah.
Okay.
And we supported the company back from May 2022. They are now have very good progress in terms of choosing location, you know, getting teams on the ground. They are planning to start building facility from 2024, and they will do this within the next 5 years. Also, companies like Nestle, Bayer, Unilever, they announced investment during the war. So we also support them. We provide all necessary, you know, advice and practical on-the-ground support. And that is very good. And we will see many of those in Ukraine, because we have our pipeline. Our pipeline is 18 projects worth $2.3 billion. Technical companies, manufacturing companies, different companies that are interested to do business in Ukraine.
So what about today? I mean, you have your tech and startups out here. Umi just mentioned them at your booth. But what would you like to talk about to the people here today if they come by you? What do you need and what do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, do not think about Ukraine as a country that needs a one-way support. Indeed, we received a lot of humanitarian support. We are thankful to all our partners in Europe and throughout the world. More than 50 countries throughout the world supported Ukraine. But also you need to remember that Ukraine is a place where you can do profitable business. It's a win-win situation, because we will need you, we will need investors in order to rebuild Ukraine. But not only to rebuild, but to build back better, because we need to transform our country economically. Our defenders that are putting their lives, you know, on the ground, you know, protecting democracy and European values, they need to understand that they will come back to prosperous life. And then when you will do business in Ukraine, your business will be very profitable, because demand of the market will be huge. People will be very motivated to work with your companies. Our people are very creative. And when you will attend our stands today, you will see 4 companies. They're not only IT and tech, they also from agriculture sector, from other sectors. So you will have a good variety. You will understand what Ukraine is as of today in terms of development business. So I really encourage you to come. And if you are interested, you will also have our stand, Ukraine Invest stand, and you can talk to us about any sector: mining, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, metalworking, machinery building, any sectors that you represent. We can talk to you about these sectors, and we will definitely find you investment projects. And in Ukraine Invest hands, you are safe and you will feel welcomed. All our services free from government of Ukraine.
Fantastic, Sergiy. You'll be here all day with us, so please join you in your booth and see you at lunch break for me.
Thank you very much.